Okie dokie, I decided I'll be doing the biggest crochet project I have to date, and that is a massive Victorian quilt. So this pattern, every time I flipped through it looking for a pattern I really wanted to make, I would come across dozens and dozens of quilt patterns. And I couldn't just leave them. They were gorgeous. I need to recreate them. This is practically my Victorian crochet Bible, and I need to explore it wholly. So I could not commit to one pattern, of course not. I cannot commit to one pattern and recreate these motifs and just sew it together and just only do that one pattern. That does not work for me. This book has hundreds and thousands of authors. That is hundreds and thousands of different people's input into this. Everyone writes their pattern differently. Some are strict, some are much looser, some just are a reference, you know? Some of them give you the precise hook size, the precise yarn, the precise colors. Others give you a rough guide. And some of them are kind of funny. Some of them have a bit of humor to them. You wouldn't expect it, but they do. And I love reading them. So the more patterns I can do, the more of them I can read, the more history I can gather from these and just enjoy and give back to you. Some of these are done very nicely and neatly. Some of them are a bit sloppy. Some of them just say miss a stitch. Doesn't really matter if the stitch count is wrong. Others, down to every stitch, is precise. The structure of them is different. This one, of course, worked inside out. Typical, normal. There's another pattern in here which you work outside in. Another square. You outside in. Crazy work, isn't it? But exciting and fun to do. Anyways, I started. Let me show you the nicer quilts. I started it, and I'm having so much fun remaking these. They look absolutely gorgeous, okay? We have some very classic Victorian, we have some Greek key, we have some lovely edgings. This one tells you to use 2 colors. This one has tassel fringe, I don't know why. This one was very popular in the 40s under various names. I think maybe chamomile and chrysanthemum were 2 of the names I've seen in my books. I'm working on this one currently, but that's for later. We have this lovely centerpiece of a cot cover. This obviously will be my centerpiece too. It is too gorgeous to ignore, and I want to do different colors just to really make it pop. We have a 3D rose. Gorgeous. Why? I mean, who wouldn't want to recreate all of these? Anyways, before I get into showing you what I have going on, I'll tell you about my hook. It is a vintage Millwood size 1/14, just a typical little steel hook. My yarn is a Falcon Derwent's 4-ply, and I'll let you see all of the information should you care. Each ball is 20 grams, and the quilts on average are taking about 10. For the smaller, simpler ones, and for the larger, more intricate ones, it takes over 20 grams. The colors I have are as follow, and then a blue color as well, which is the one I've started on. I have about 50 balls in total. Each color has a various amount. I think this one I have the least, and this caramel color I have the most. So my original idea was just simple. Make all of the quilts, sew them together, done. But I failed to acknowledge all of the quilt edgings, which look quite fun to do. I mean, this page, not this one, this page alone, these 2, very fun, intricate, exciting things to do. Just color change here, nice and fun. The design of this, gorgeous, typical Victorian Van Dyke. Perfecto. But I ignored them. I said, I'll make all of these, sew those up, that's my quilt. No. I've strayed from my original plan, okay? I'll be making these, and I'll be making sections of these as well. And then at the end, sew it all how I want to. So I still have that control. Because I cannot make them and just sew them however. I need that control to get the pattern really looking good. And now, because I made a short about this, and my original plan was this was antique, vintage, and modern, and it would be a lovely timeline. It would be a gradient and a timeline in one. I don't care for modern. I think modern quilt patterns suck. I mean, when have you seen anything comparable to this? You haven't. That's because it doesn't exist. Modern time pattern writers are just not doing it how it used to be done. That used to be a whole production, okay? It would be thousands of people working on these. Now you have one person at home just recreating something they loosely saw, rebranding it as theirs. It's not exciting. I don't care for it, okay? I want to see the excitement in my work. I want to foam at the mouth when I see this. I want to see this and say, damn, that's some sexy work I did. So all of it will be antique, perhaps some vintage. And if I run out of patterns in this book, of course, I'm going to the Antique Patterns Library online, which has more quilt patterns. They have tatting and knitting, crochet, all of it, okay? It's all for free. It's a lovely source. And, I'll go there. I'll find more quilt patterns online, antique ones, and just go from there. But so far, this is what I'm using, and these are the colors. And if you're wondering, like, if I make these two, and how would I join them? So you could have a square here, square, square, but then you leave a triangle. What would I do then? Because then my quilt's got holes, and it doesn't look good. I've got that planned out too. Let me find the pattern I want to find. Oh, here she is. This lovely thistle pattern, God forbid my work comes out and there's a hole in it where there's no quilt, a quilt doesn't fit. I'll create this. I'll create the lovely stitch patterns from this book to fill up that space. And then it'll be lovely and exciting and fun. So I got started on a few of these. And I'm making them exactly how they are supposed to be made. I'm not accepting any mistakes in my work. I'm making it completely as it is, verbatim, okay? So in modern crochet, we go through both loops. But in Victorian one, you go through the back loop. So that gives it a bit of a different feel. And the size hook I'm using gives it a lovely plush effect, but it's not too tight, it's not too condensed. It is very nice. This one is just a diamond made with trebles going into the previous row. Nice and simple. I do these late at night, so I'm starting with the simpler ones and then advancing so I can familiarize myself with the style of writing and the order, how it's done, okay? But anyways, I do not want to have a quilt, which I have to say, sorry, that's inaccurate. I messed this up, I did it the modern way. No. It needs to be as if it were done by a Victorian person. I cannot use the influence of modern times. It needs to be completely 100% accurate. I did have a few mistakes in some of the ones I'm doing. I undid the entire quilt, went back, redid it. I'm not accepting a single mistake. Now, this is the second one I did. This is just a cross with the trebles and then puffs. I will have to iron it out, block it, steam it, whatever to get the shape, but it is accurate. I'll see if I can find the pattern. I haven't worked them in any order. It was just what looked cute that day, what I had the energy to do. Oh, that was lucky I found it. Here we are. This is what we are looking at. And this one, sorry, it's this way. It has ridges, so that's why it's cinching up, because you keep turning it back and forth, but it looks really nice. It was nice and easy to read. As I say, some of them do have like skip a stitch, or just they're quite just loose and referencey and not the most precise. But that's okay. If there's one stitch missing or something, I follow the pattern as much as I could, as authentically as I could. When it's just with how the pattern was done, that's nothing I can do about it. It annoys me when it's not perfect, but I'm trying my best to really make it authentic. If you talk to anyone who does vintage or antique crochet patterns, they have a butt ton of mistakes in them. There's just something about them which they just... plenty of mistakes. This one you can see the original edge is not straight either. My one, like, if I block it out, it will be fine. But it irks me that I can't go in and make even just a slip knot border, because that's not authentic anymore. That's not what they would have done. This is verbatim, okay? But I know the edges are just not clean and crisp, and that annoys me, but it looks how it looks, right? Even some of them, so you can see the rows, exactly which stitch was done in which direction. You can see all of that, which is funny. The engravings aren't the best, but they are good for reference. You can see if they're using the back loop or both loops or what they're doing. Anyway, I'm super happy with how it's going so far. I'm doing the easiest ones first, then I'll progress on to harder ones. And when I am done with this book, I will have then done all of the quilts, the quilt edgings, the stitches, all of them as well. Currently I'm working on this one, and then I'll give you a sneak peek of this one just because I'm a bit generous. Oh, there she is. Anyways, that's for the next update. But I am progressing well, and it is really fun. I do recommend this. Like, if you have a book and you're just seeing tons of patterns like this isn't a quilt, this is just a handsome open square. But just recreating them, sewing it all together and having a piece of art, because how can you let these patterns go? I will be recreating all of the laces in here too, like recreating this, recreating the shawls as well. I'd love to do those. See, this I wouldn't add to my quilt. My original plan, I wouldn't. It doesn't fit, does it? Because I would have to make this verbatim and add this onto things like this. Sew those together, and that just doesn't quite fit in. But that's the fun of this. I have to make all of them, experience every single one. If I'm struggling with it, I just have to endure it and get through. I have to understand how it's written, dissect it, get it done. Because some of them are quite a mystery and a piece of work. They're not written as nicely as I would like. If I had it my way, crochet would be standardized. Everything would be much simpler and easier to understand. Anyway. But that isn't something I would do. But guess what? It's going on to my quilt. It has to be something I do now. It says quilt. This is my Victorian quilt. It's going on here. Same with the edges. I didn't want them initially. Too damn bad. Says quilt. It's going in my quilt. Anyway. Update should be soon, as I am working proficiently on this. I want to get them all done. This is quite exciting for me. I don't know. These patterns are so gorgeous. I just need to do them. Something in me is driving me to do this. It is just... What is this? It is just really fun to work on. And just before bed, it's just a lovely thing to help you rewind, relax, and... I don't know, sometimes crochet gets a bit boring, but doing all of these patterns has never been boring. It has never been a dull moment because they're just really inventive. Modern crochet, I think, is very limited to just... I work in US terms, but I'm trying to go back to UK terms. So you have your slip, your double, and your treble, right? That's all people are doing. But here you skip to different rows, you go to different... they work very differently and very specifically, and I think we've lost a lot of the art of crochet. It is just so much more exciting. You don't see things like this anymore, and it was much more experimental and much more innovative and just a lot more. Anyways, next update will be soon, and I'm so excited to get back to the quilt I've begun 5 minutes ago. See ya!